College of Notre Dame, and I'm going to talk to you about Dorkbot Baltimore. Okay. Dorkbot Baltimore is a monthly series that we have at the Creative Alliance on the third Tuesdays of the month from 7 to 9. And really what it's all about is I'm trying to create some sort of connection between artists and technologists and programmers, anybody who does anything with, to create a sort of a informal, friendly environment, foster discussions, and bring together people from different backgrounds. And that's really what it's all about. And one of the things where this comes from is there's a engineer that I kind of look towards. His name is Billy Kluver. Probably some of you may have heard Billy Kluver in the past. He's coming up here in a second. And here he is. And just to talk about him for a second, he was an engineer that worked at Bell Labs, and he saw the advantage of working with engineers and putting artists together with engineers to create art projects or other things that could be, using technology in different ways. And he saw that as something really important. And with Dorkbot Baltimore, I see this as something that could really stem out, kind of think about what we all do in different ways to kind of bring us together to create whatever it is. It doesn't need to be art. It could be anything. It could be, but art could be part of it. I come from an art background, but I work with programmers. I work with engineers and things like that in my work, and it's something that I find really important. So, and one of the things that I take from Billy Kluver is this whole idea of languages. Okay, the whole idea we have this, and this is something that's really not new, but I think it's really important when we talk about these things, is that we all have these things that we use to communicate with each other, whether it's text or whether it's computer programming, whether it's music, whether it's visual art, and we use these as kind of our mediums, our modes of thinking, our kind of ways to kind of throw out those creative ideas to each other and kind of say, okay, this is what I'm saying, but that's, and I think this is something that really we want to try to foster at Dorkbot in a new way, okay? And we have these really kind of intimate sort of settings at the Creative Alliance, and they're really great. Well, we kind of talk about, one of the things we had was things with, we had this project with electronic knitting, and we've had things with working with software called processing, and one called Maximus P, and all these different things to kind of foster relationships between each other, stuff that people may have not have seen before and maybe could use in there, or just use the ideas that come from those to kind of make them think in different ways about whatever they're working on, whether it's an art or whether it's some other kind of project that you are interested in, whatever it is, okay? And one of the, in the end, one of the things I want to talk about, and there's a slide coming up real quick, I'm kind of moving a little bit fast here, but I will preface her. There is a person that works at the SETI Research Lab. Anybody know what SETI is at all? Okay. Her name is Dr. Jill Tarter, and she's the director of SETI. And I heard this TED Talk. You know what TED.com is, of course, probably? Yeah. And she gave this really amazing talk online that I watched, and you all should check it out because it's really great. And one of the things that she gets into is this quote that's coming up in a second. And what it kind of talks about is the whole idea that she's really looking towards when she kind of, when SETI projects are, when she works with SETI. And we're coming up to it in a second here, I apologize. We're kind of rapid fire this evening, I guess. 1 second. So, and let me just vamp for a second. This is Maximus P. This is some other software that some of the people use. That was urbantells.net, which is a project that I worked on a couple of years ago. Some of you may have seen some of the North Avenue stuff that we did. So, and she's coming up next here. Okay, there she is. Okay, and you can see the radio telescopes. This is, I believe, this is probably in Puerto Rico. There's a few sites they have around the world that they use for the SETI research facility. And the quote here is, SETI is a mirror that can show us ourselves from an extraordinary perspective. If SETI does nothing else but change the perspective of humans on this planet, it will be one of the most profound endeavors in history. And that's what I'm really trying to get here, is that I have the takeaway in the exploration of an idea. It isn't always the finished object, but the discovery and learning that takes place along the way. So really, what we're getting into is sort of this, it's really about the paths and the communications. All these things that we do to come together and talk about what we do and kind of how we do these things. And that's what it's all about. So thank you.